Have you ever thought why most successful people's life is totally different than regular people's life, and why some people have really chaotic lifestyle compared to those who are really organized? And this is something I used to experience in my personal life, and I really wanted to do dig into it and understand what I was doing wrong. So back when I was a kid in a high school, I wasn't really doing well at school, uh, neither in elementary school nor in high school. And I knew that I was doing something wrong. Despite I was trying to succeed on everything, everything would turn chaotic. So then I started researching, and I uh, came up to this book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This was recommended by highly successful people like Dave Ramsey, etc. So I just decided to give a shot and see what this book is talking about. I read this book. I learned what it's saying, and it's kind of opened my eyes to this world. Now I understand vividly every single step what I was doing wrong. So basically, this book covers seven habits of effective people. It's not regular habit like read a book every single day, some sort of stuff. No, those are like fundamentally what builds our lifestyle. Uh, those are uh, those are subdivided to three parts, which is independence, interdependence. Actually, I'm sorry, for two parts: independence and interdependence. Uh, so independence is uh, contains three habits: be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first. So those things you have to wrestle in yourself and master those habits. Once you're done with those, you go to public victory, which is interdependence. Think win-win, seek first to understand and synergize. The seventh is just renewal. So those those four habits you have to work with other people. Per Covey, this is the hardest part. However, to do this, you have to master first three habits, then you can jump onto those. So basically, when I read this book, when I started to apply this habits into my life, I could see how my life was changing. Everything chaotic, which I could easily expect, was not happening at all because I was planning by the teachings of Covey. Well, quadrant two. So I'll talk about it as well shortly. So let's start with the first habit. Um, be proactive. So basically, you take responsibility for your life, focus on what you can control. So basically, something happens on your life, and you respond based on your values, moral values, and your whatever you prioritize in your life. And you must be very careful that your mood is not affecting your the weather is not affecting. What is affecting is your internal beliefs, standing points, and your values again. So let's say something happens to you. I don't know, something unexpected happened. Instead of scratching your head, just you go outside. You think about what you can control, and this is called circle of influence. You think about what you can control instead of just giving up. Think think about it. This is super important. The second thing is begin with the end in mind. So you have to define your vision, mission, and principles. So uh, this this principle works this way. Whenever you intend to build, you first design before you build, right? So this is the same thing. Before you do, you have to visualize it, and this is exactly what Covey is asking from you. You have to uh, think about your end, whatever the best outcome you would like to have. You have to think really, really deep here. Sometimes, we think that money can resolve everything, but over the time, we understand that money is not the most important thing. But sometimes it does. So we have to think what can change. Um, what is um, what is really what do we really value inside ourselves? And for example, Covey gives sort of way to analyze it. He asks people to close your eyes and just pretend you're dead. You attend your funeral, and there are like 5 or 6 people who comes out and they speak in a church. Uh, and what would you want them to talk about you? This is one way to understand, like, what do you want in this life. So once you define what you want in this life, you go to habit number one: be proactive in your response to unexpected things or for anything goes uh, your response by those values. Put first things first. This is actually something really helped me with. So so um, we have quadrant one, quadrant two, quadrant three, quadrant four. So basically, I'll be very short. Quadrant one is very like urgent things. You have to do them right now. Quadrant two is important but not urgent, and third quadrant is totally not important. Um, and the fourth one is I don't even remember, but where you have to focus on is quadrant two. Things are happening. This is not urgent right now. However, you have to do this. This is the most important thing, right? For example, car maintenance. You don't you don't have to change your oil of your car right now because it's not urgent, but in the long run, if you don't fix it, it's gonna be urgent because you have to replace like really expensive parts or components of the engine, and this is gonna fall into quadrant one. So whenever you do quadrant two, you eliminate rest of the quadrants. You won't have that much of load of urgent stuff. And I think this was one of the things in my life which was disturbing me a lot. Like me sitting in all this chaotic lifestyle I was having. I think it was because of this. Once I started focusing on quadrant two, I I I I freed myself. I felt the freedom, to be honest. Think win-win is seek mutually beneficial solutions, base interactions on abundance, fairness, and respect. So he brings lots of examples when huge corporates could not agree with each other and would want to sue each other. However, whenever you think about your competitors' benefit as well yours, when the person you're arguing or negotiating something understands that you want good for him as well, at that time, most prolific most abundant results will come. The fifth habit is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Probably this is one of the habits I hate to say, but I have to develop it a lot, because most of the time, instead of like listening, we speak, and whenever we are listening, we listen we listen to reply. And this habit asks you to listen with the perspectives of other person, whoever is talking to you, to really understand, to really understand, to see the world through his lens, and then you can reply. The sixth one is synergize. So in this life we have a lot of people, like a lot of colors. Not everybody is same, but whenever we um, can learn how to synergize with each other, we can make it great things. And he brings lots of examples. So it's like 1 plus 1 is equal 3. You find a lot of people who disagree with you. However, you find a way to synergize with them, and that's gonna make a real difference. The seventh one is sharpen the saw. So this is basically recovering your spiritual life in your physical life. So it's mental, physical, social, and spiritual. So for physical, it goes exercise, nutrition, rest. You have to be very vigilant about this. You have to do physical exercises because you have to renew all the time yourself. Mental, you have to learn, keep learning, reading, and keep being creative. Like do some creative stuff because it recovers your mind, kind of. Spiritual, uh, you have to stick to your principles, faith, purpose. Social and emotional, you have to interact with people, relationships, service, empathy, and the the really easy way to keep up with all of those is to schedule everything on quadrant 2, um, on a weekly basis. So you have to block on your calendar for each of this stuff. Sharpen the saw, I mean, and prioritize what is priority for you. Because a lot of time we have like huge list of to-do list, and we just go, by the list, and at the end of the day we are depleted of our energy, and we don't have any fuel to work on. That's why we have to understand that our energy is super limited. We have to put things which are priority for us to our calendar. Thank you. If this video was helpful to you, please like and